And we're back.
We're back. We have with us this time around for a second conversation, Melanie Escalante. She is a vision strategy coach. It is the beginning of a new year, Marlene, 2022, and many of us want to get an idea of where we want to go for the next 12 months. So Melanie is joining us via Zoom to discuss just that. Good morning, Mr. Escalante.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you
Happy New
guys.
Year
Happy
to
New
you
Year to
too.
your audience.
Happy New Year. And what a great, we're having this conversation because right now everyone is thinking about this fresh new year ahead of them. 12 months, one whole year, and so much time to be able to do the things that we always said we wanted to do. And so this morning, I understand, Melanie, you're going to be shifting our thought process away from the idea of resolutions to coming up with a vision strategy. Is that right?
Yeah. When you invited me last year, we were talking about how to make your resolutions stick.
Yes.
And, being that my focus as a vision and strategy coach is to get people to visioneer, dream, set their goals, move forward. One of the things sometimes that we don't focus enough on that I wanted to bring to the attention of people this year is to look at ourselves and get a vision for ourselves as in who we are. Who do we want to be? Who do we need to be in order to live the life that we want to live? This is because oftentimes resolutions, New Year's resolutions, goals die because we're not doing the work on ourselves. We're not looking at who we are and what the growth path is that we need to go on in order to be able to achieve the goals or the resolutions that we set. Yeah. So the idea today is to talk about a new vision for you. And let's not live the general pattern of February being death to resolutions month, but actually as we continue to grow ourselves, we can move forward to achieve the goals that it is that we set out for ourselves.
You call it a makeover.
Yeah, because change is possible. You know, change is happening all the time. If you think about your life to date, many times, many of us grow through what we go through. Mm-hmm. So we're growing by default. So today we're kind of looking at what if we grow by design? You know, what if we're just intentional about identifying who it is that we need to be and move forward in that direction?
Yes. Now, you know, I think, I guess you find in your line of work, there are a lot of people who want to be better in some way, shape, or form. You know, it could be habits that they've established that they want to change. It could be things about their personality that they've been resigned to that they want to alter, or even just setting out in executing goals for their lives. But very often, saying that you want these things and actually being able to work towards them, they're two different things. How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, well, first of all, I look at the idea of a self-audit. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to really kind of get a handle of where you are right now. So indeed, we say that we want to do certain things and we often don't do them. And it is because of habit for the most part, because we believe certain things about ourselves that we're only capable of certain things, or people have told us that we're not smart, or that, the circumstances around us are limiting factors, and therefore, we work with that. We kind of manage our life versus directing our life. Yeah. And so it's important to kind of get a look at the current situation. Yeah. You know, what is the quality of your life right now? What's missing from your life? And what's great about it? Because what we want to do is we want to move into what we call like a compelling vision for you, a compelling future for you. And that is something that from within is kind of pushing you towards it or pulling you towards it. So we want to visioneer that, taking the time to really internalize what those character traits are that we need, what the resources are that we need, what life's going to look like when we're better. You saw the slide there that life is better when we're better, right? So if we look at the quality now and do the self-audit now, then we can say, okay, what do we need to build on that's great already? What do we need to do that we're not doing that's missing?
So I love what you've laid out in terms of the self-audit, because that's a term we don't use very often. So you're putting us, you're giving us the how to execute this self-audit, and it starts with kind of just ranking on a scale different things in your life. So what's your quality of life now? And I guess we could do it at least mentally on a happiness scale of 1 to 10. And you can talk us through it, Melanie, because I'm sure people at home can have the same reflection.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever seen the Wheel of Life. And you kind of go around on a scale of 1 to 10 in whatever area is important to you. So I had listed like 9 areas that generally they holistically cover our lives, whether it's finances. So where are you on a happiness scale of 1 to 10 as it relates to your finances? Let's say you say, okay, I'm a 4. Then you realize that you have 6 points to get to the 10, If you're looking at your relationships or your connections with people, where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are you as it relates to your body, your physical and mental health? And I think that's very important for us to just hone in on, given your last guests. One of the things that we don't hear often people talking about around the COVID situation is, what are you doing to maintain peak health? How do you want your body to be during these times? And granted, hopefully we're coming towards the end or phasing out of the pandemic, phasing into something else, obviously. But with or without the pandemic, do you want to be in peak physical condition, and why? Where are you as it relates to your career on a scale of 1 to 10, or your business? Or from a giving and serving capacity, do you want to make a contribution, and where are you on that scale of 1 to 10 there? And so there's other areas, spiritual, fun, adventure, your character, and from a growth perspective as well. Nice. So those are the things that we're looking at as it relates to the quality of your life.
All right. And so we start off with and I like that it's a happiness scale. It's not just looking at things as doom and gloom. That's for the other part of your audit, right? With what's missing.
Yeah. Well, if as you look at your happiness scale and you see that in some areas you possibly a 10 already, in other areas you might even say a 2 or a 1, or you might say a 5, just middling kind of thing, mediocre. So then we want to look at what's missing then. From a material, a relational, and a spiritual perspective, what's missing in your life? What is the perspectives or the mindsets that you have that need to change? So what would a better mindset be? What's missing as it relates to your mindsets, and what's missing as it relates to the character traits that you're bringing to your life at this point? Because oftentimes, if we do the audit and we're honest with ourselves, we can recognize that our character contributes to unhappiness as much as it does to happiness.
Yeah, that's right. And then we close off by assessing what's great.
Yeah, we definitely want to focus on what's working, right? What's helped us to grow so far, what's bringing us happiness, and bringing us success. And one of the things that we don't do often when we do these kind of audits, or self-reflection, is to ask at the end of everything, what else? Because we're not in the habit of creating these sorts of lists. And so when we've created a list, we feel like it's a little bit exhausting, can even be overwhelming doing self-reflection. But it's important to look at what else, because sometimes things come to mind after you've cleared out the obvious things. Then there's something deeper that might come to mind. And so we can ask ourselves, what else? What's not on the list that needs to be on the list of who I need to be? And that's where we go to next from the audit, is really asking ourselves, who do I want to be? And why do I want to be that person? And as I was saying to you about asking yourself what else, in the why, we like to kind of go deep with that as well and look at, let's say, 6 or 7 levels of why. And so, you know, you might say, for example, you know, I want to be a person of my word. I've let myself down a few times, let's say, not being a person of my word.
Yeah.
I want to be more knowledgeable. And then we'd say, well, why? And you might say, well, because I want people to trust me. I want people to be able to rely on me. But we don't stop there. So you say, okay, so why do I want people to trust me or to rely on me? And we might say, because I want to have more confidence. I want to be more confident in my business or in my professional life. And why do I want that? Well, because maybe I want more clients in my business, more customers, or maybe I want to get a promotion. And so we just keep digging with that why. So why do you want a promotion or more customers? Well, maybe because I want to grow, right? I want to contribute more. And going again, why? Well, maybe it's because I just want to be all that I can be. Yeah. And when you get to that stage, then you're saying, oh, wow. So it's not so much being the person of my word and being knowledgeable, but it's actually getting down to, hey, I want a life where I'm living and being all I can be.
Yeah. Tapping into your purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we can say, okay, let's go to the next step, which is how do we create a plan to get there, right?
Yeah. And that's the key step. After you've done all this work, because it is work to identify all these things, and it's creating the action plan that can become essential in getting you there. Because if you simply identify this is what I want and you don't put steps in place, you hardly get moving in the direction that you want.
Yeah.
Like
so there's a couple of, sorry, go ahead, Asani.
So it's like basically setting goals that are practical and achievable, correct?
Indeed, but it's now looking at it from the perspective of I've identified for myself that I want to be all that I can be.
Yeah.
And so now my goals are taking on a new level of meaning, a new level of importance to me, you know? And so now we're looking at then, all right, so if that's what I'm about, what traits do I need to strengthen? Because we've already done the audit and we're seeing the things that are working for us. And some of them, we may need to use them more often and we need to strengthen the muscle in those places. And then in other cases, we looked at what's missing, right? Yeah. So then we're looking at what traits do I need to develop then? Yeah. Because going back to if we accept that we grow through what we go through, now we're saying, this is what I want. So we're saying by design, I want to cause my growth. I recognize where I'm short and what it is that I need to do. So what do I need to develop? We would be looking at, you know, do I need to be more resourceful? Do I need to be taking care of my health better? Some people say, you know, in terms of connection and relationships, that I need to listen more and speak less. You know, so listening skills are something that I might need to develop, right? So those are some of the things that we look at in terms of developing and even changing and shifting. What needs to shift? What needs to change? You know, this idea of not things are bad. You know, that perspective on that. You know, we might say, well, in spite of the way things are, I can do certain things and I'm going to do what I can do. And that's what needs to shift, is my perspective on it, you know?
Yeah. What I love about your self-audit process is very often, and I think we were talking about it in the beginning of this show, that when you are embarking on improving on something, you tend to only see the bad. But what your self-audit does is that it gives you the opportunity to see where you have done well or you are doing okay. And so you don't feel that you have this insurmountable challenge in front of you, that you have some tools in your arsenal already.
Exactly, yeah. And so, and what we want to do is be intentional then about using those, because when we focus on that, you know, there's the saying, where your focus goes, your energy flows.
That's right.
So when we focus on the good things and the things that are working for us, we can create more of that for ourselves. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to do, while recognizing that some of the things that we're doing haven't been working. And there are perhaps new things that we'd want to introduce into our arsenal to strengthen and shore us up for the goals, for the vision that we have for ourselves.
All right. And so you have this last slide, your life after the shift.
Yeah, and you'll notice there that in brackets I'm saying see yourself anew. Directing versus managing your life. And that's really what we're talking about here, is once you've done this exercise, spend some time in the space of looking at your life. Even though you're not yet there yet, you now know how to get there, and you're very clear on what it is. In this case, we use the example of living the best version of myself, being all that I can be, right? So picture yourself there, spend the time looking at it from leading yourself. You know, when you invited me last time, we talked about leading yourself to innovate, visioneer, and expand your life. So look at yourself in that space of leading yourself and others, now with the clarity that you have, with the character that you are building, and the confidence and self-control that you have because of the character that you're building. You know, take the action, see yourself in the space of taking the action, walking the talk, right? Doing and being what you say you're going to do and be. Right. You see how this is beyond now the resolution, because it's actually affecting the resolution. It's affecting the goals, right? Doing it, being it. See yourself as that person that does the things that they say they're going to do. And see yourself achieving the results, benefiting from the results that you're getting, the expanded life, you know, the increased capacity that you now have, the increased ability to visioneer even more for your life, greater appreciation, joy, connection, and greater contribution to the world, really.
Fantastic. I do love just that simple phrase that you said there, that you are going to be directing your life versus managing it. And that alone is a mental shift. It's making life happen to you, or you making it happen.
Indeed. And so, you know, the last slide that I have there, for years, let me say many years ago, I'm thinking like 15 to maybe 20 years ago, I saw a poster in Belize City, and I picked it up and put it in my office, and it was 10 two-letter words to live by. And you see them up on the screen there.
Yep.
If it is to be, it is up to me, right? And so, you know, even that managing, if I'm going to be a manager of my life or my circumstances, it's up to me. Or if I'm going to direct my life, if I'm going to plan it out, build it by design, it is up to me. Nobody's going to come and do it for us, you know. And so it's important for us at this juncture, 3rd of January 2022, to get that new vision for ourselves. And so I'm just saying, make you a happy new year.
All right. I just think that's such a perfect way to close off the conversation. But I do want to say that you do have this presentation. It's uploaded on your website, right?
It is, yeah. So coachingwithmelanie.com/blog. You'll find it in the blog.
Okay. So people can be able to save it, they can do their own audit, and they can start putting together the vision that they want for the year ahead. Melanie, just any final tips. You've probably seen it all, do's and don'ts. What happens if you fall off the wagon and go back to old habits? Just things that will probably come up as people go on this journey that they can know to push past.
I'm so glad you mentioned that about falling off the wagon, because I did want to say that, that give yourself grace and time. You are where you are today based on years of experience, based on certain circumstances, based on belief systems that you've already created because of those circumstances. And so we're talking about creating something new, and change doesn't happen overnight. So old habits will arise. And sometimes you'll find yourself, after you're into a rut, for example, or after you've fallen back into a habit, you'll start to recognize it. And the idea is not to feel bad about it, just accept it, acknowledge it, and get back to your plan. Mm-hmm. If you do this exercise, you will have a plan and you'll have the structure that you need. Something else I did not mention either is the need for an accountability structure. Many people do well with an accountability structure. And so just ask yourself, how can I create a structure of accountability? Can I share it with a family member, a close friend? Can I ask them to check in with me and hold me accountable? Can I do it myself, in terms of, let's say, on my calendar, I'm going to do certain things by a certain date and put calendar reminders, What I do find in the coaching space, and clients have affirmed this with me, that, and even for myself, and I've been coached and continue to seek coaching from time to time, having an accountability structure where you're going to go to somebody and say, I'm going to do this within the next month, and then you're going to meet with them again a month later, and you don't want to show up to them not having done what you said you were going to do. Yeah. Many times we might allow ourselves the excuses that we would make, but we don't want to make those same excuses to a third party.
That's right.
And so that kind of structure to help you stay on track. And if you're good at being accountable to yourself, maybe, like I said, a simple calendar reminder just to keep you on track. And even if you refer to your vision monthly or quarterly, stay on track. I said earlier, it's a makeover. Change is absolutely possible. You need to commit to it, and you need to set yourself up for success with an accountability structure.
All right. Well, I think that's such an important reminder there, Melanie. As you said, it is a matter of being able to put in, to be committed. And I love the accountability part, because that really does make a difference. Thank you so much. Maybe we do the check-in on February and see where we are with what decisions people have made. Because that's right. It's why people dismiss resolutions. It's because they think that once they fail the first time, that's the end. It's not.
Yeah.
The real commitment comes with getting back on track.
Yeah. If it is to be, it is up to me. Let's do this 2022.
That's right. Thank you so much, Melanie, for coming in and sharing this with us. Once again, you can access this presentation from this morning, which includes the how to do your own self-audit, on her website, Coaching with Melanie. We're going to go ahead now and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.